good. It's Wednesday, happy hump day. Today's book is called The Noticer. Challenges can be opportunities too. Your definition of your experiences is dependent on how much perspective you have. At every turn, life throws several challenges at us, such that even the strongest and most talented people have to wade through them to get to the next stage of their lives. Fortunately for the people of Orange Beach, Alabama, anytime things seemed difficult, a man named Jones always came to help them solve their problems. Carrying his battered suitcase around, he approached people who needed help and encouraged them to change their perspective to the problems they were facing to get better results. Using no formulas or difficult techniques, Jones opened their eyes to the different perspectives of life and encouraged them to find the strength to move beyond their problems. Your thoughts define who you are. If you want anything in your life, you need to imagine it first. At the age of 23, Andy Andrews had lost both parents, his home and car, and worked by cleaning fish on the piers of the Gulf Coast. He lived off food from empty vacation homes near the piers and slept underneath the Gulf State Park pier. It was in this condition that he met Jones. Meeting Jones was a pivotal moment in his life. Jones was a noticer, someone who noticed things that other people overlooked, even when they were in plain sight. He saw things from a different perspective, so he could give people a broader view to regroup and start their lives again. Jones noticed Andy's sadness and disappointment at the life that he had and offered him some books that may help, and all of this happened upon their first meeting. Emphasizing that other people's experience, instead of his own, was the best teacher, Jones encouraged Andy to read the stories in the books and learn from them. The mind is a delicate part of a person. If you are always bothered by the things you need, you'll soon realize that they keep increasing. But when you're grateful, you'll feel happier. And other people will enjoy being around you. Being around people brings more opportunities and encouragement, and a life filled with opportunities usually ends up being successful. Becoming a person people want to be around would require that you ask yourself what other people would want to change about you. This doesn't mean you live based on what others think, but if you are going to be a person of influence, you have to make sure others are comfortable around you. Jones kept bringing more books about influential people to drive home his point. Through Jones' help and the things he learned from the books, Andy began to do better at work and live a life that he enjoyed. Every stage of your life exists to teach you a lesson. That lesson unlocks the next until you get to the highest level of success. Relationships thrive when partners understand their love dialects. The use of a wrong dialect can end a relationship quickly. Andy was not the only one Jones wanted to help. Barry and Jan had been married for about 21 years, but were on the verge of divorce. Claiming to be their best friend, he asked them questions that revealed their marital problems. In a gentle discussion with them, Jones explained that the reason they kept having issues in their marriage was because of their blurred perspective. And while they saw a failed marriage, he saw a failure to communicate. It was evident that they loved each other, but they both had different dialects. Means of expressing love. While Barry communicated his love with spoken words of approval and only felt loved when he heard someone speak kind and loving words, Jan believed in favors and deeds and only felt loved when someone did something for her. So while Barry kept saying he loved his wife Jan, she just wanted him to do things around the house for her. When you keep expressing love without regard for the other person's dialect, there's a high chance that you're not expressing love in a way that they'd like. With a promise to act on his advice that they learn each other's dialects, Barry and Jan decided to give their marriage one more try. In Jones' next meeting with Andy, he explained that there are 4 dialects through which everyone expresses love. Spoken words of approval. This dialect is for people who feel loved when others say sweet words or address them using words of approval. They can be likened to puppies who get excited when their owners praise them. Favors and deeds. Those who express love through favors and deeds only feel loved when others do things for them. They are like a goldfish that's now worried about whether others spend quality time with or touch it, but is more concerned about getting enough food and water from its owners. Physical contact. Those whose dialect is physical contact only understand and express love through physical contact, and Jones likened them to a cat. This is because a cat usually can fend for itself but wants to be touched most of the time. Quality time. A person who speaks the dialect of quality time wants to spend time with the person they love and expects that they do the same. The Canary best describes those who have quality time dialect. It just wants people to be there to listen to it sing. Everyone speaks a different dialect, and to understand your relationship with someone else better, you need to understand their dialect and try to channel your love in their direction through their means. Worrying about an issue means you're compounding the problem. Approach every problem with a well thought out plan. Approach every problem with a well thought out plan. At 53 and recently divorced from his second wife, Walker Miles was contemplating suicide because his mind was filled with sad thoughts of his problems and mistakes. His 2 ex-wives complained that he showed them no emotion, and this hurt him greatly. Walker met Jones while driving one night. Soon, he began to share his stories with him. He told Jones how his father's alcoholism made him sad while growing up, and how his jobs ended abruptly because he couldn't be happy. Jones was quick to reassure Walker that his father's alcoholism was in the past, and that one of the reasons he felt the way he did was that he was smart. Smart people worry a lot because they overthink things and are always looking for a way to solve a problem. A simple way to get through this problem of overthinking is to think logically. When an idea comes to your mind, instead of calculating the possibilities of the idea happening, calculate the odds. The odds are lesser than the many possibilities your mind can think of. When you do so, you can eliminate such ideas from your mind. 40% of the things you worry about will never occur anyway. 30% already happened. 12% are needless worries about our health. 10% are little worries about what other people think, while the remaining 8% are your real concerns that should be dealt with. A grateful disposition also helps to keep worry at bay. The more grateful you are for the things in your life, the less time you have to worry about the things that bother you. Most of your fear is unfounded and can be easily dispelled by facts. Instead on dwelling on the past, focus on the positive things around you. Choose the people in your circle carefully because they'll have to help you make some critical decisions. Many young people, excuse me, Many young people always wanted to be around Jones because he gave them advice that worked when they applied it to their lives. One of them, Richie, asked Jones how to keep a marriage from ending in divorce, since he noticed that a lot of people ended up divorcing their partners after a while. Jones explained that although most people think marriage is about commitment, it is easier to commit if you made a wise choice in the first place. Most people meet their partners, fall in love, and allow physical attraction to trump every other feeling. They forget that physical attraction is not all there is to marriage. And after a few years, they realize that it is not the most important thing anymore. In the long run, they find out that all the things they gave up to make the other person happy have become the cause of constant disagreements. In the long run, they find out that all the things they gave up to make the other person happy have become the cause of constant disagreements. Then be, they then begin to seek comfort in the other people who share similar interests in a way that their significant other doesn't. This can happen to anyone. But an excellent way to determine if someone is suitable as a life partner for you is their compatibility with your friends. Do they enjoy hanging out with the other people in your circle? Or do they always try to keep you away from them? This is a huge sign you should pay attention to. If they're constantly trying to keep you away from your friends, it is an indicator that they do not share in the things that make you excited or happy. You can tell a lot about a person by the indicators they leave as they go through life. Although sometimes it is hard to decipher the indicators or understand a person, this is where your friends come in. They can tell you the truth because they see the whole picture from the outside. A relationship that makes you doubt your abilities is toxic and can ruin your dreams. No matter how old you are, you can make a difference. All you need is the willingness to do so. Nobody knew how old Jones was because they always saw him looking the same, even when he had been gone for a long time. Many people just concluded he was a transient with no family, home, or job. Willow Calloway was one of those people. Willow Calloway was one of those people. One evening, she found him sitting on her dock, and they had a conversation. She complained of how she felt useless being alive at such an old age. Her children already had their grandchildren, and one of her children have even died at 50. It's unbelievable, those people. The guy had a heart attack and he's still smoking. And he's telling me, I gotta quit. You gotta? Jones was quick to remind her of the things that other people had been able to do despite their age. Harlan Sanders started franchising restaurants to sell his fried chicken at the age of 65. Benjamin Franklin didn't invent bifocals until he was 78. Also, Winston Churchill won the Nobel Prize for Literature at 78 as well. This is amazing. There is no limit. There is no age. Your actions make a lot of difference in the world. And you must understand that even when it looks like you are not doing anything or you are facing the worst ordeals, you should always remember that the most important part of your life is ahead of you. There's laughter ahead and more hope when you're 20 or 80. If you're still alive, it's for a reason. If you're still alive, it's for a reason. Every action you take has consequences for you or someone else. The more deliberate you are about your action, the better the results they produce. Did you know Nelson Mandela became president of South Africa at the age of 75? Whenever you have to make a choice, choose to be kind to other people and fair in business. Almost everywhere Jones went, he left people with a healthy dose of humor and wisdom. And everyone seemed to have a new perspective on their situation, which allowed them to regroup, take a breath, and live their lives again from a different point of view. Henry Warden was one of those people who gained a new perspective to life from his conversation with Jones. Henry owned a landscaping business and an advertising firm in Georgia. In his desire to succeed at both, he cut corners and did illegal things. His customers and employees complained repeatedly, but this wasn't enough to change him. It took a conversation with Jones for him to realize that the small things in his business that he kept ignoring would be the cause of his failure. Taking time to show him how different his employees are and how his ill treatment had made them fearful of him, Jones explained that he needed first to change himself if he wanted to be more successful in his business. But change doesn't come easily. When Henry Warden attempted to apologize to his employees and even his wife, they found it hard to believe or take him seriously. But this did not stop his determination to change. The next time he saw Jones, he reported his slow progress. Jones was quick to identify the problem. While Henry kept apologizing for his past actions, he did not attempt to offer restitution for the wages he didn't pay or the things he consciously decided to do wrongly. That is the difference between a mistake and a choice. Most people usually confuse the two concepts. A mistake happens unintentionally and can be resolved with a simple apology. But when you've chosen to act in a way that hurts others, you must be genuinely remorseful, ask for forgiveness, and offer to make things better. Your relationship with people is a crucial aspect of your success. If you treat people right, there's a high chance that they'll return the favor. I am really disappointed, to be honest with you. And you might ask why. Eight people came to this broadcast. It's an amazing book. It's called The Noticer. I believe you need to listen to it like again and again. 8 people came to this broadcast. But only 4 liked. John's experiences with the people of the town show that whether you're married, on the verge of making an important decision in your life, or even advanced in age, it doesn't stop you from making a change. What matters is that you are willing to do it. Andy Andrews managed to read books that helped him work harder. Barry and Jen changed their marriage for the better because they understood they had different love dialects and decided to change. Willow Calloway realized that even at her old age, she could still be productive. And even grumpy Henry Warren became a better boss to his employees. This is what looking at life from a different perspective does. It broadens your horizons and makes your life even better. We have to be noticing things. We have to become a noticer. Which means find out why the problem is happening. Whatever you do, always remember that you need fresh eyes to look at seemingly difficult situations, and that there is a whole world of positive results that you can explore when you start thinking positively. Try this. Whenever you wake up in the morning, write down the things you are grateful for in a book. At the end of every week, review what you've written. This will help you be more grateful for the things you have. I don't know how many of you are doing this, to be honest. It's good to listen to me reading a book, talking about it, very motivational, but it's not enough. If you do not apply these things in your life, then you are wasting your time. You're just hearing, but you're not listening. They go in here, coming out from there. Sometimes you might remember some of the stuff. When you wake up in the morning, every day, when you wake up in the morning, every day, write down the things you are grateful for. No, in a book, not in your head. Write it down in a book. I am grateful. Imagine I just woke up now. For today. Come on. For waking up. Grateful for my parents who are with me. Believe me, if you do this every day when you wake up and before you go to bed, you review them in this book, it will change your life. When you think positive, you will attract positive to your life. Have a blessed one, guys, and I will see you when I see you if God permits.